Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Cassidy. If it's not, thanks for always tuning into my videos. Today we're doing the if you like this book, read this book trend thingy that goes around, but I'm putting a little spin on it and I'm going to do if you like this traditionally published book, read this indie published book. I have 5 books here for you. And I mean, technically I think they go either way, but I'm guessing most people would have had read the traditionally published and not the indie. There we go. Let me know if you like this type of video and I will do more in the future. If you liked Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, this is a story about Nona Gray who ends up going to the convent of Sweet Mercy where she becomes training to be an assassin nun. Our main character Nona is she's sassy, she's loyal, but she's also sticking it to the man and sticking it to the people, and she's grumpy and just like a character I love. Then I think that you should pick up Along the Razor's Edge by Rob J. Hayes. This is a new favorite series of mine that I read this year, who follows Eska, who is a sorcerer of one of the nations, but ends up within a war, throwing down the white flag and letting the other side win, which then puts her in the pit, which is where they put their most dangerous criminals. You have to watch Eska escape the pit. Eska is Nona just with her ego blown up a few times. Eska thinks that she is top shit. Eska rules the world, and she does not, specifically at the beginning of this. But she still has that loyal trait that Nona had. But I do think Eska is a bit more of an unlikable character than Nona is. But I do love both of them, and I think these series have similar vibes to them. Especially even in the way they're told and the way you find things out with 2 timelines and such. And I just really liked it, and I really, really recommend both of these series. Red Sister is literally one of my favorite series, and so is Along the Razor's Edge, so I hope more people pick both of these up. The next one on this list is going to be if you like the Rage of Dragons series. This is the second book in the series. I don't own the first physically. If you like this series because of the vengeance plotline, because our main character does anything and everything to get their vengeance, to sometimes they make immorally wrong decisions, they don't always make the best decisions, but they are on a quest for specifically what they need, then I think you will also like Winds of Strife by Yuji Gutman. In Rage of Dragons we follow Tao, who sets out on a vengeance quest, and he wants to be the best of the best. He wants to prove that he can be better than all, even though he shouldn't necessarily be because of his class and station and race. But I think the main driving factor of this is a vengeance character, a vengeance storyline, a character who's willing to do anything for their vengeance. And I think that's what you also get in Winds of Strife. You follow Nai, who is trying to take down the witch hunters from the inside, but in the years it's taken to get to a position where he could possibly take down the witch hunters, he has done so many things that he probably would have said are wrong and that are wrong, but it becomes a blurred line when you're on a quest for vengeance, and I think both of these do that quite well. Now, if you liked The Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell, which follows our main character Falkio, who is the first cantor of the Greatcoats, which is kind of like the king's royal army that is set to make peace across the world and stuff like that, but the king has been murdered. Then you just have Falkio on one last quest for the king. I think that you also could like The Swordsman's Lament by G.M. White. These two are just, the tone of the story for me is so similar. The way our main characters hold themselves are so similar. Falkio is funny and charming, and he's good to his core, and we have our main character Belasco in this, who is also good and charming and a epic swordsman, and the way these are done is just there is a sprinkle of humor added to them that I think resembles each other. In The Swordsman's Lament, you're following Belasco, who is the king's champion, and when the prince is murdered, he now has to figure out who did it and also prove that it wasn't him because he's being set up. And I just think that these two are very easily comparable, and I really enjoyed both of them. My next one is if you liked Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. Now this is just a fun read which follows 2 characters, 2 siblings, Geyer and Maya, who are on opposite sides of a war. Maya was taken away from her family at age 5 to be apart and be raised within the Empire, and Geyer ends up hating the Empire for that and joining the rebellion to take them down. And this is just a really, really fun read with interesting world building, and there is a lot of like weird ecology happening within this world, and it's just fun. I really just had fun with this series. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of good time. Then I think that you could like The Umbral Storm by Alec Hudson. This is another book that I just had the time of my life reading. They both have weird ecology in them too, so that makes them comparable. We have characters that start off on opposite sides of something. This one is less literal than this one, and it's just, I don't know, I just really had a fun time with both of these, and that's really where this like gut feeling comes from, that you could like both of them. The Umbral Storm follows her main character, Darren, who has known nothing but suffering his entire life. He is a sold slave, which means that he's like paying off a debt, and when he pays off his debt that he will be free. Not all slaves are that way in this world. Within this world, there are people that have shards. They're called the Sharded Few, and with these shards, they have like magical abilities. The Sharded Few are like higher than anyone else in society, and there is a whole like really cool way of how magic grows in this, because it's like a video game with like shards being put on you and you leveling up, and I thought it was really, really cool. And I just had so much fun following Darren as he finds himself a player in the game that he never thought he would be a part of. I don't know, but like there's just a fun factor to these that I think that you could like both. And my last one on this list is a big comparison. I'm a little scared to give you this comparison because I don't know if people will agree with me on it. But if you liked the Live Ship Traders, or honestly just the Realm of the Elderlings, if you like Robin Hobb style of writing, I think that you could like Nomads of the Sea by Kobe Zucker. I mean, look at these. Like, just compare them in size and we're solid. They are chunkers of books. They're also both set on water. There's boats in them. I think that's comparable. For me, I think the comparison comes within like the way they're written and the way they're very slow, character driven, a lot of journeying stories. Like, we have a lot of travel time in both of these, but it's travel time where you get to see character growth and character decisions, and I think it's travel time that makes sense. There's also a lot of like richness to the world in both of these. That's why they're comparable. Live Ship Traders follows the Live Ship family, who have these things called live ships, which when 3 generations of your family die on board the ship, the live ship quickens and becomes alive. Literally has like a mind of its own, is its own being, and is faster than any of the other ships and all of that. We follow the live ship family as they are going through some money troubles and what that means for them. We just follow like their journey. I'm trying not to give away too much. The Live Ship series is so hard to like sum up. It is one of my all-time favorite series. I'm obsessed with the series. In Nomads of the Sea, we follow our main character, Sig, who lives on an archipelago and is very rich in his culture, but there is a civil war happening in this archipelago, and Sig's family ends up reaching out to the bigger nation for help. And within this story, there are really big talks about colonization and what that means for a nation like the main gals. I think that's what it's called. And I think it's beautifully done. Again, just like a lot of world building, a lot of lore, a lot of just character moments happening, and a lot of discussions. And I think that these are very comparable. I loved both. So I hope more people read them. Like, I really need more people to read Nomads. It's so good. And there you have it. Those are my, if you liked this traditionally published book, you should try this indie published book recommendations. I am not sure how this is going to go, so I need you to let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this type of video. And then if you just want to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me like a city skyline emoji. There's a bunch of them in there. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon, all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.